Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I'm in the final weeks of my presidency. You don't have to clap for that. You can if you want.
Flashback.
You've seen all the public polling, people concerned about age. How does the president plan to convince the American people over the next year that 80 is not too old for someone who's running for re-election?
80 is the new 40. Didn't you hear?
I know I only look like I'm 40 years old, but I've been around hanging.
Look, it is. Let's. I get asked this question about once a week, maybe twice a week. I don't know. I've lost track. This is a president, if you think about it. In 2019, he got the same criticism. In 2020, he got the same criticism. In 2022, he got the same criticism. And every time, he beats the naysayers. Every time he does above and beyond and makes history in doing that, that others are not able to do.
Second, when the president spoke in the Rose Garden a little bit ago, one thing he did not do was take any accountability for his party's defeat on Tuesday night. Does he feel any sense of responsibility for the outcome? Does he feel he should have done things differently through the course of this campaign?
So there's a lot there, and let me, if you don't mind, give me a second to unpack all of this, because I think it's important for the American people to hear this as well. Look, the president has spoken to this, and I'll say it again here. He was certainly inspired by the campaign that the vice president ran.
You would hear me talk about it all the time. Being a daughter of parents who are active in the civil rights movement, I know and believe that the best movements that are about progress in our country mean that it's leaders that we are dedicated to the coalition, to bringing people together that seemingly have nothing in common, but have everything in common.
When he decided to pass the torch over to the vice president, you saw the party come right behind her, support her, right after he was able to do that. And it's because she was the right person for the job. You heard him say that in 2020, the reason why he selected her as her running mate, because he knew she would be able to do the job on day one. And you heard that obviously once he decided to pass the torch, which he didn't think about, give any second thought, right? He thought about it and did it. Like, it wasn't something that he gave a second thought to, as I just said. He knew it was the right thing to do.
To restate my question, does the president feel any responsibility for the outcome?
The president understands that he's going to respect the will of the people. That's what he understands. He understands that the American people made a decision, and he's going to respect that. He believed he made the right decision. When he stepped aside, decided that he wasn't going to run, he automatically... Guys, here's the thing, and we can't rewrite history. We have to remember what happened in 2022. 2022 is a perfect example, actually, because when we came out of 2022 midterms, we saw a successful midterms for any new administration in over 60 years. And it was because of the president's policies.
Thank you. Does the president have any regrets about when he chose to leave the race, or any regrets about deciding to run for a second term?
So, look, the president is very proud of what he was able to accomplish. He was very proud, and when he made that decision to hand over the torch, pass the torch to the vice president, he believed it was the right decision to make at that time. He believed that she was ready. She was ready to lead on day one. Okay.
Thanks, Karine. Does President Biden believe he could have won if he stayed in this race?
President Biden believes that he made the right decision when he decided to step aside and immediately endorsed the vice president, and you saw the party come behind her, support her, and he believed it was the right thing for the American people. He put himself aside. This was not about him. This is about what was right for the American people, and that's what he believes. He believes it was the right decision to make, and he's very incredibly proud.
Thank you, Train. So picking up on Zeke,
Yeah, sure.
for such a monumental decision, the president did address why he left the race.
Well, thank you.
But he left a lot of it for us to read between the lines. He did not make clear why he's leaving the race. Even in the excerpts that you bring up,
Yep.
he says that, the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. Is he saying it's because he was too old? In another one, he said that it was for the sake of democracy. Well, that does not answer why he thought he was in the way of democracy.
I mean-
So
Go ahead.
why
No,
did
no.
he
I
make
mean,
this
look, a
decision?
new generation, and he also said the next sentence was to unite, is also to unite the nation. Look, the president has talked about this twice. One in a letter that he addressed to the American people on Sunday, laying out a very monumental, to your point, it is a monumental decision that he made, and he thought very long and hard. He also said that he's been serving this country as a public servant for more than 50 years. It is not an easy decision to make. He talked about unity. He talked about the next generation. He talked about passing the torch. I was asked in this room a couple of days, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, all of these days are coming together, that when the president ran in 2020, he talked about passing the torch. He talked about the next generation. He talked about being a bridge to the next generation. And I was asked, is that something that the president still wants to do and still cares about? And I said yes. And so this is part of that, right? This is part of what he said in 2020. He talked about unifying the nation. He talked about unifying the party. And he believed the time was now. The time was now to step down from his reelection and to move, ahead with the next 6 months, the end of his term. And that's what he decided to do.
Before he made the decision, he said that there were 3 things that could sway him: the Lord Almighty, a medical condition, and if his team showed him that he could not win. So was it because of the polling?
I can tell you it's not a medical, was not a medical decision, because I've been asked before, and we answer that very straightforward and in a very direct way. I'm just not going to get beyond that. Can't time.
I know many of my colleagues have asked these questions, and just given the historic nature of the announcement and the decision, I think it's important to get some more transparency. You just said that the president thought long and hard about the decision to exit the race, but also yesterday you said that he made a decision on Saturday night, and prior to that,
You could still think about something long and hard if he started thinking about it on Saturday night and finally made his decision on Sunday.
that doesn't seem like a.
I mean, that's your assumption. But that is your assumption. Not everybody will have that same assumption or thought, right? I mean, it is a decision that he felt that he needed to make, and that was the TikTok of it, if you will. We were laying out to you how it happened, and that's how it happened. That's how the president said it happened. He wanted to unite the country. He wanted to pass the torch. He felt after 50 plus years of public service, the time was to do just that. I don't have anything else to add.